Hello, my name is Ratcliffe, and welcome to another episode of Veramed Stories. You might be able to guess from the title that this episode is going to be a little bit different to normal. So we are in fact changing the host for Veramed Stories. It's something that I took on at the very start. So we released the podcast in January 2022, and I've been the host ever since. We felt that we wanted to freshen up the podcast a little bit. And at Veramed, we're very keen to provide opportunities to others who might be interested in such things. So with that said, I'm really happy to introduce everybody to Himesh. How you doing, Himesh?
Hi Ian, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. So for this episode, we'll allow Himesh to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what he does at Veramed. But mainly we're going to focus on kind of what Himesh wants to do with the podcast and to give us an insight on kind of what episodes he is planning on bringing to the podcast. So firstly, Himesh, just as we always do with all of our guests, if you can please just introduce yourself and tell us about your career journey so far.
Yeah, so my name's Himesh and I'm a programmer here at Veramed, and I've been here with the company nearly 3 years. So my journey into the industry and into Veramed was probably not atypical. I actually did a finance and business degree at Bournemouth, and then after graduating, I managed to get a job trading currencies. So it was in the finance sector. So I did that for over a year, and it was something I did enjoy. However, due to some external circumstances and things like that, it unfortunately didn't work out. So like a few other people, I'm sure, in their early 20s, I was a bit lost, wasn't really sure where to go. And I managed to get on a graduate training program at a different CRO. The only thing with that was it didn't start till October, and this was in January. So I had to find a job to do in between. So I actually went into real estate. It sounds very random, but throughout my growing up, all the part-time jobs I've had have always been sort of sales-based, like telesales or like bartending and things like that. So it's something I was very confident with. And then like I mentioned, I managed to get on this graduate training program. So obviously, all very new to me. For the first week, maybe 2 weeks, I was very much questioning, did I make the right choice? Like, is this going well? And then I think, like other people, there's a moment when it comes to programming where the penny drops and it all makes sense. And then I was just very eager to learn. It was something I found very interesting from the get-go. And I was with my previous company for a couple of years, and then I found myself over here at Veramed and been here ever since.
What was it that attracted you to Veramed in the first place?
Probably the reputation they had around the industry of just being like the flat structure, the sort of friendliness and the support they were willing to give. I felt like they looked at me as an individual and identified my skills and where they would be able to help me develop my skills, and also identify places where I needed more development, and gave me the opportunities. And this is things that it was very clear to me in the first few phone calls I had with the recruiters here and during my interview process. And it made me feel like an individual rather than another cog in the wheel, so to speak.
Great stuff. Now, I'm happy to share the process of how Himesh came to be the new host of Veramed Stories. So when it became clear that we wanted to freshen up a little bit, we put out an announcement on our whole company meeting asking for volunteers. Who wants to get involved? And Himesh was pretty much the only person that reached out. I don't know why. I really enjoyed doing this, so I think it's a great thing to get involved in. So, but Himesh, what made you want to take this on and be the host of Veramed Stories?
Well, if anyone has met me or knows me, they know I'm a talker. I talk a lot, and I just thought, what better way to do it than a podcast? I talk to everyone in the company, regardless of what job titles you have and everything like that. I just enjoy talking to people. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to bring their stories onto the podcast, and as well as give me an opportunity to speak to people I wouldn't normally get to speak to, like not spoiling any future episodes, but I get to speak to people across the pond, for example, and other people from different offices and things I won't necessarily get to speak to in my day-to-day life at Veramed.
Okay, so now you are the host going forward from this point, Himesh. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what some of your first episodes are going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first episodes I will be recording will be with members of our neurodiversity group, where we'll be talking about what neurodiversity is, bringing awareness to it, and speaking about their own sort of personal journeys from school all the way up to their working careers. So I'm quite excited to record that. And then I've got a few other ideas planned. I'm not sure when they'll come out, but I would love to do an episode with our CEO, find out what his day-to-day is like, how it's changed throughout the time. I would like to speak to some of our more experienced programmers about how programming itself has changed throughout the years. The way I look at it is if I find it interesting, hopefully someone else listening will also find the topic interesting.
Well, I'm pretty sure they will. That all sounds like pretty cool stuff to talk about, and I'll be looking forward to being a listener. I'm happy to admit I haven't actually listened to hardly any episodes of this podcast, mainly because I hate hearing the sound of my own voice back. So it would actually be nice to actually tune into the podcast myself without that worry.
I'm sure I'll get you as a guest at some point as well, so we can flip the tables.
that would be great. That would be great. Is there anything else you want to do with the podcast? Any kind of new ideas of a direction you wish to take it, or is that all a bit of a secret for now?
I wouldn't say secret. It's just more, I would just like to build upon everything that you and everyone else behind the scenes have created so far. So something that, I don't know, make it a bit more sort of interactive, maybe like run competitions for people. We have internal competitions at work, which are quite interesting and get people involved, whether it be with programming, like some art and things like this. So something we could give out to our listeners. I don't know, maybe add some more segments or even interview people outside of Veramed. Maybe get an opportunity to go to a conference and interview people and just get their perspective on the industry and programming in general, or even stats as well. I can't be biased to programmers because I'm a programmer, but I will include the statisticians and everyone else.
Well, that all sounds really good, Himesh. And like I said, I very much wish you all the best with it. And as you've said already, it is entirely possible that I could come back on this podcast as a guest. So we'll have to get our thinking caps on to think of an interesting topic to discuss.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're obviously more than welcome to come back. And I'm sure we could even do probably a special episode with both of us hosting. We'll see what the future holds.
Who knows? I've done this on every single episode that I've been the host of, and I'm not going to let you off either, Himesh. So we're going to do the final quick fire questions that everybody's had. So can you please describe Veramed in 3 words?
Yeah, so the 3 words I came up with was fun, supportive, and friendly.
And what is your favorite thing about working at Veramed?
Just to be completely unoriginal, I'm going to say the people. It's something that drew me into the company and is why I'm still here. Like, absolutely love everyone that works here.
I will warn you in advance that you will get that answer 90% of the time if you choose to ask that question on the episodes that you host. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's not people being unoriginal, perhaps. It is just a kind of a testament to what Veramed is as a company. So yeah, bit of pre-warning there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Himesh, for that. Again, I wish you all the very best of it. And I would just like to take the opportunity to say a massive thank you to all those that have listened to the podcast, have listened to the episodes that I've hosted. Also, a massive thank you to everyone that's helped grow the podcast within Veramed. A special shout out to the marketing team, Andrew and Katie, who have really helped push this idea forward. And also thank you to all of the guests that I've had on for the podcasts. It's actually really helped me learn an awful lot about how Veramed operates as a business. And I'm sure Himesh will also appreciate how much he's going to learn in the future about how things work at Veramed. So yeah, thank you ever so much for listening to me, and I'll leave you in good hands. Speak to you next time.